Hi, everyone. Welcome to Hope TV. I'm Kelly Burns from Stars of Hope, and with us today is Elizabeth Treston from Long Beach, Long Island. Stars of Hope crossed paths with her after Hurricane Sandy. She is a fierce advocate for survivors of Hurricane Sandy and a great fan and supporter of Stars of Hope. So welcome, Miss Liz.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me
okay? Today?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great.
So, Miss Liz, can we just start with, can you tell us more with your story, your background, and how you got connected with Stars of Hope?
Sure. So after Superstorm Sandy hit Long Beach, New York, and the rest of the South Shore, these wooden stars started to appear out of nowhere on our light poles, or in gardens, and along the pathway as we were driving through the muck and garbage of what happens after a storm devastates a city. And I got caught up in assisting everyone, and I founded with some of the other residents the Long Beach Community Organization Active in Disasters, which brought me to the Long Island VOAD. And there I discovered where the stars came from. And I met Jeff Parnas, and I'm sure everyone that's watching has been touched by Jeff in some way, somehow. And this is where it began. And I just everyone needs a star of hope. So I started. I think it was the 1,000th day after the storm. So 1,000 stars for 1,000 days. We had a little program here in Long Beach where everyone took a picture of their star. And we have over 1,000 stars here in the city. And they're still up.
Wow.
And the original ones from almost 7 years ago now are still as bright as they were the day they were hung up. The newer ones don't hold up as much. But the older ones, they are still there. And I can picture in my mind as I'm driving in my head when I'm able to go back outside again. There's one on Grand Boulevard and Park Avenue, and it sits at the West Home Civic Association's marker point along the road. And I pass that one every day. And my neighbors, everybody seems on my block, everyone has one. And they're all holding up well.
What about that one that you pass by every day really sticks out to you?
It does, because I think it was the first one that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, isn't that cute? And then I would happen to see them in different places. And it was you were very limited on where you can go, just like today.
Mm-hmm.
Very limited on where we can go. So they stuck out like little beacons of flickering light. Here I am. I haven't forgotten you.
Yeah.
So that one stands out because it's just my pathway to get off of the over the bridge out of Long Beach. I always pass that way. But now I try and do, my new thing is go a new route every day so I can see what's happening in the fine city of Long Beach.
Mm-hmm. Were there any stars you were able to make? Did you paint any?
I've made a lot of stars. I've made little stars. I've made paper stars now because we're not using the wooden stars because of the pandemic. And everyone listening can download a paper star, I sound like I'm from Queens. A paper star I am from Queens, by the way. A paper star from your website, and make it's something to do at home with your family. It's something you can do by yourself. Crayons, a pen, just draw what makes you feel happy. Draw what actually makes you feel sad, and pop it in an envelope. Stick it under someone's, well, you can't go to somebody's house, but give it to your mailman. give it to the UPS driver, wear a mask, and say, "I've been thinking about you today." Hmm. You never actually know what those little damn things are going to do.
Do you remember the first time like you made one?
The
What that was
first time I made one with the Long Island VOAD.
like? Uh-huh.
Jeff had come out to our center out there to do a project for all of the volunteers from the different disaster organizations that were working together. And unfortunately, the band is back together as with the pandemic. We're starting again with the disaster recovery groups. And Jeff came, and it was we just painted a star. My painting skills are far from artistically creative, but I painted one and brought it home and stuck it on on my in my window, and then there were leftovers, and said, bring them home. And I said, okay, I'll bring one. And so then I had a whole bunch in the trunk of my car. It's like, this is ridiculous. So the disaster recovery group, we were meeting up at the boardwalk to give out some information. And I just took this, I think maybe 50 stars or so in the back of my car, and they were painted. What's lovely about these stars of hope is when you turn them over, there's always a little message that you really don't see that comes from the person that has created it. I find that more special than what's painted on the front side. So when I flip over my star, it says from Kansas. It's from a Boy Scout troop. So there was these little stars give such a connection to each other as humans that there's just, and you can't put a price on that. But
Yeah.
but now I've seen some of them on the website, and they are creations of art. I'm almost embarrassed now to paint my little star with my pen. Some of these belong in a museum. You have great imaginary artists that are creating more joy, and I hope that on the back that they're writing little notes to the person that will get it.
But I think you made a really good point, Miss Liz, about it is about the message, and it is about like the heart that gets put into the art made. So even though you feel like maybe you don't have the best art skills, it's still that energy put into it, that thoughtfulness, that love.
I remember one of the stars, again, I had them in the back of my car, and I came home one day, and my brother-in-law had placed them all around on the deck of the house. He had nailed them all up, and I was flabbergasted. Oh my gosh, what did you do? I have to give these away. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to leave them here. And I took pictures of all of them, and they had made their way around the country for some reason. And they came back to Long Beach in my trunk, but they've been given out. And one was from a young boy whose birthday it happened to be, and his dad called me up and he said, oh, that's his star. I said, does he want it back? And he said, no, he wants it to go back around the world. I said, okay, I'll put a little note on it that it's made its trip back, and it's like finding a bottle from the ocean.
Yeah. Wow.
With a little message. So I like the messages on the back. So write good messages.
Yeah. So now we're in 2020. It's very different in a way. I'm curious as to your thoughts about what's going on right now. Just your personal take, reflections on, COVID-19 and how it's affecting you or your, community around you.
It's difficult for everyone. People have to remember that although it's affecting each of us individually, as a family, as a community, this is a global pandemic. It's not a Florida pandemic. It's not a Wisconsin. It's not centered in one place. So we're all feeling lost. And when you begin to feel lost, you have to look for hope. It's innate in all of us to look for some kind, people say look for a silver lining out of your day, always be grateful for one thing. With I think that I've talked to a couple of people about how this feels, and it reminds me of when the doctors told me I wouldn't walk again. And you get that information and you take it, and you either say, oh, this is what's happening, and I am going to do what I can do to become better than what the doctor told me. I'm going to part of it's like, well, I'll show you. I may not walk, but I'm going to outlive your 5-year prediction. It's these little steps. So there's always I like to call it a string. So when you're in a situation that seems so dire, look for the string. And it may not be visible. Some people walk. I have a friend, her name is Carrie, and she finds dimes on when she walks on the street. And every time she finds a dime, she takes a picture, and to her, that's her family saying hi. So I find strengths. And that to me is someone needs help. And I have my dog, if it's a big string, or if it's small, he manages. I have him pick it up and I put it in my car. My friend Nora will tell you my car is quite a mess, but there's many little strings in there that remind me that there are people out there that need hope, and it comes in any form. And we're finding with this pandemic is that everyday people, they don't have to be a cop, you don't have to be a fireman to be a hero. Everyone is their own hero. Whether you're clapping at a certain time in your community for your first responders, for your clerical workers, for people that are on the front line, or whether you're at home homeschooling your children for the first time, just take a breath. Know that we're all in this together, but we're all in it in our own way, so we can eventually look to the other side. I don't know when that is. I'm hoping it's sooner than later, because we've been in the house for a while, and I know we all want to get out, but safety first.
I first thank you for sharing such a personal, like, your story. I think that's going to resonate with so many people that maybe haven't made that connection yet, that the feelings they're experiencing right now, the distress, is connected to maybe a previous trauma they've had that might not seem like related to what's going on right now, but it totally is, and that's okay. And that, I'm sorry, Liz.
It is okay.
Yeah.
People well, Stars of Hope, you come to communities that have had tragedy or disaster, and this is a disaster beyond what any of us could actually imagine. It's a Hollywood freaky movie.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to comprehend what role you play. Are you the main character? Are you someone that just gets paid $3 to stand in a background? Are you the action hero? So we all have a role to play, and it's hard, and it's not, but we're all going to be okay, I hope.
Yeah. I love the symbolism in the string, like we got
I actually wear a string. One of the strings that I found. Oh, it's somewhere up here. Hang on. You think that I would wear a fancy diamond bracelet or a bracelet of any kind, but no. Literally, I wear a piece of. Can you see it? A piece of butcher string, and it's has seen better days. It's has an excellent knot, so it hasn't fallen off. So when things are really bad, and currently in the city of Long Beach, things are quite bad. So I will tug on it to remind me that you're alive, you're breathing.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's why people need a string, or they need a star of hope to know that there's going to be a tomorrow. It's not going to be easy, but don't lose the string. Hold on tight.
Are there any specific examples you've seen or heard or read about just the everyday person, like you mentioned, that's, doing, quote, the hero role?
Well, here in the city of Long Beach, we have people that have. Mindy started a little Facebook post. Every day she posts. Get out there at 7 p.m., clap your hands, bang your pots. And because of social media, those things pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear loud and clear when you open your windows or if you're joining in that people are clamoring for 2 minutes. And if you clap your hands for 2 minutes, it's not as easy as you think. It's a workout. So it gets your heart beating, and again, you feel, I'm alive. I'm okay. And we have two sisters that started feeding those on the front line. I'm trying to remember because I didn't write anything down. We have people that are collecting masks. We have people that are making masks. And I'm sure that this is happening in all communities. We have moms that have started birthday parades for children that are missing their birthdays. Our school is working on things to do for our senior class for 2020.
Mm.
We have people that are getting married virtually with just having 10 people at a place socially distancing. So life is continuing to happen, but just like my own life, things are going to be different. Things are not normal. There is no normal. Just things are different, and you learn to adapt to the differences. And we will all find our difference, and we will all learn to pull on those strings and those stars
Yeah.
to get us to the other
We'll hang
side.
the stars with those strings.
Pardon?
We'll hang the stars with those strings.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the background and I can see the little hole. And,
Yeah.
well, that's a nail, but it could be a hole, and you could hang it up with the star.
We'll change it to a string. I love it. Well, thank you, Miss Liz. Any final thoughts or insight you would like to share with our viewers about creating hope, sharing hope, keeping it?
Don't lose it.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure you're talking to somebody if you need to talk. There's no shame in talking to somebody. There are plenty of phone numbers. You can call Dr. Kim Johnson here in Long Beach. She started, again, another person stepping up. Long Beach Therapy Network.com. And she and her friends and her colleagues are there to listen. There's the SAMHSA hotline. Just know that you can talk to people because it's going to be difficult. People are losing their jobs throughout the country. There's food insecurity, and these are huge problems, and they're it's scary, and it's okay to be scared. Just don't lose hope.
We agree. Well, thank you so much, Miss Liz.
You're welcome.
We very much appreciate it. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for watching Hope TV, and we'll see you next time.